What's up, 49er faithful? Welcome to another special edition mailbag. My name is Rob Shue. Today we're at a very special location. Special to me. This is Elowah Falls behind me. June 18, 2011, I married my wife. A year before that, on April 24th, I asked her to marry me on that spot right there, where the bridge is currently hit by boulders. It's changed a little bit since I was last here. There was a huge fire in the Columbia River Gorge, and then some mudslides that happened. Huge chunk of the rock wall behind me fell off the face and then broke into 1,000 pieces. So it looks like some sort of Martian landscape behind me with all this shale that is just sort of laying on the floor here where the path used to be. Don't tell anyone, but this trail is closed, so I had to cross over a couple of landslides on the way to get here. And I'm not gonna lie, there's some fear in the back of my mind that while I'm talking to you, I'm gonna be smashed by a giant boulder. Because there is one the size of a house just to the left of me that was not there 11 years ago. It's kind of a trip to think that my wife and my marriage held up better than the earth did in this particular spot. A testament to the strength of our love, dear. But with our 10-year anniversary on Friday, I figured needed a special spot to do a mailbag. Why not here? So I hope you enjoy the view while we do this. I apologize for the background noise, but it's part of the charm. Today's mailbag is answering a question that comes in from Wales. Gavin, we're going to cover my top 3 moments at Candlestick Park and my worst 3 moments at Levi's Stadium. I'm going to flip it around so that we start with the negative and end on the positive, because this place is too special to me to end on a negative. It has a great deal of meaning. It feels cool to be here right now, I'm not going to lie, and I hope you enjoy it. First and foremost, I do admit a little bit of guilt for Levi's Stadium, helping get that built. I did buy one of those bricks that Jed was selling. Gave my financial support and sign off to the Levi's project, and I apologize for that. I also did sell that concept to my wife by putting our anniversary date on that brick, and it worked. But I do regret supporting building Levi's. Anyway, to the worst moments. Number 3, on my birthday, unfortunately, 2018, October 21st against the Rams. Obviously, we know what happened early on in that season, but I wasn't prepared for the shellacking that we took that day. I wasn't prepared for how good the Rams looked and how badly we looked. It wasn't competitive. It was awful, and it gave me no hope for the remainder of the season. I knew I was in for a long run in 2018. Second worst memory at Levi's. I made the mistake of bringing a Cowboys fan to a game in 2017. And we sat on the east side stands early in the season and cooked. Do you see the skin? It is not meant to be out in the scorching hot Santa Clara sun. I'm meant for shady nonsense like this. Ireland, somewhere like that where my people came from. But there I was, suffering in the heat, suffering from my loudmouth cowboy friend, suffering from the product on the field. That was ugly. But not quite as bad as the worst moments at Levi's Stadium. Thanksgiving game 2014. My wife and I joined a family friend, had Thanksgiving dinner in the Levi's parking lot. It was spectacular. It was going to be a competitive game. And the Seahawks whooped our asses, man. And Richard Sherman ate turkey on our 50-yard line on the logo. And I don't leave early from games, so I'm there till the very end watching it. Well, that was painful. Back then, I had a very strong disliking for Richard Sherman, as I'm guessing many of you did as well. Whew, that was rough. It's painful just thinking about it. I feel better now that we've had him on our team. My disdain for Richard is gone. I now think of him as Uncle Sherm, and so it takes the sting out of that moment just a little bit. Doesn't take the sting out of the championship game and the trash talk on Crabtree afterward. That one still is there. Sorry, Uncle Sherm. But for the other one, for Thanksgiving, I forgive him for eating the drumstick on the logo. Now, I didn't then. Top 3 moments at Candlestick Park. Let's get into something significantly more fun. Now, these are my moments. So the reason that I chose them is personal, and it's not necessarily going to coincide with how you rank top moments at Candlestick, and it has to be moments that I was actually physically there for. Keep in mind that most of why I like particular moments is because of the people that I share those moments with. So the majority of these are with my dad, or with my brother, or with both. And there were several that are honorable mention, but didn't make the list. But I'm going to throw them out here anyway. 1998, a 96-yard run from Garrison Hurst to beat the Jets in overtime. Love that moment. I just remember that game, that play. It was right there in the corner of the end zone, right by our seats. Oh, that was spectacular. The playoff game in the early 2000s against the Giants, a huge comeback that probably should have ended with a field goal for the Giants after a pass interference call against Jeremy Shockey when we tackled him. But it didn't get called. We won the game. It was the most amazing comeback I've ever seen. Jeff Garcia loved it. The Jerry moments where he was catching the record-breaking touchdowns. 101, I remember the crowd. Jerry. All right, top 3 moments. These are special to me. Number 3, the 1998 playoff game where we finally beat the Packers in the playoffs. Now I know that didn't lead to anything else, but it was the catch-2. That game was awful from an offensive standpoint. I went back and rewatched the highlights, and there were barely any highlights from that game. It was mostly lowlights. 4 or 5 drops from Terrell Owens throughout the game. Jerry Rice was held to only 1 catch, and that 1 catch was highly suspect in the fourth quarter. Could have been the game-losing fumble, but thankfully wasn't, setting the stage for Terrell Owens in the end zone with 3 seconds left. Catch, hit on both sides as he goes down, holds on to the ball, gets up, emotion just pouring out from his face. It was incredible. The entire stadium erupted. That was a special moment. It was a lot of angst and a lot of pent-up frustration in having lost to the Packers several times and now finally getting over the hump. Unfortunately, it didn't lead to anything in the remainder of the playoffs and the Super Bowl, but that moment stands on its own regardless of what happened in the outcome that season. Moment number 2. I know for many this might have been the top moments if you had attended all the same games that I had, but 94 season, NFC Championship game, that game against the Cowboys, I did not dislike any team in the NFL as much as I dislike the Cowboys. I don't like to use the word hate, but when it comes to the Cowboys, I might have hated the Cowboys back then. I love that game. That game was phenomenal. We came out and just jumped all over them, man. But credit to the Cowboys, they didn't go away. That was a good game. Down to the fourth quarter, it sure seemed like it was possible the Cowboys could come back, but the defense just kept hammering Aikman, and we pulled out that one, and that was just an amazing season. The 94 season, Young going on to destroy the Chargers. Truly, the Super Bowl that year was the NFC Championship game, and being there for that moment was really special. Number 1 on my list is the 2011 playoff game against the Saints at Candlestick Park. And I know that season didn't end up being as miraculous as the 94 season, but the reason it's so special to me is it carries more emotion. In between those memories of the 90s and the 2011 season, we had some painful years. And so now I had suffering. I knew what it meant to lose. I knew what it meant to be dejected, to feel like I had no hope. I had seen Alex Smith's career struggles and all the shit that got rained down on that poor guy. He was on some terrible teams, and the fans turned on him. And as someone who's pretty loyal to a fault, as I've said before, that bothered me. I don't like seeing people tear down a 49er, even if it's deserved. I just don't support it. 2011 felt like redemption for Alex Smith. That game felt like redemption for Alex Smith. When we were down with roughly 3 minutes left, and he hit that 30-yard end around following Joe Staley up the left sideline into the end zone, and the place just went crazy, man. Crazy. I mean, we lost our shit. My dad, my brother, and I just going fucking nuts. It was crazy. And then Drew Brees, he drives back down the field, takes the lead, and the air was out of the stadium. It felt like we had just lost the game. How could this possibly happen? From the highest high to the lowest low. I could see the dejection in my father's face. No, we're going to lose this one. There was one miracle left. Alex Smith drive down the field, hit Vernon Davis in the end zone. Vernon bursts into tears. The place just loses it. I mean, so loud, it's deafening. We were all just heartbroken, and now we're elated beyond imagination. It was spectacular. And to me, that's the special nature of sports. It's the highest highs and the lowest lows. And I have to be present for those moments. I need to remember what it's like to suffer through the pain of loss, because that makes the moment of glory so much more important, so much more impactful, that much more special. I know for a fact that we will win another Super Bowl. And if I am alive, if I'm not crushed by some boulder that falls off the face of the cliff over to my left, I will be there. And that victory is going to be so, so sweet. So, so sweet. Because of the losses we've been through. Because of the tough times we've gone through. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the retelling. I certainly did. I certainly enjoyed coming out here to see this particular place. All right, special message to my wife. The rest of you, look away. This isn't for you. I love you, sweetie. I couldn't think of anyone else that I would rather share my life with, be a partner to, be faithful to, love unconditionally, and share every experience that we have. I've always felt that we're on the same team. I'm looking out for you and you're looking out for me. I meant everything that I said over at that spot 11 years ago. I'd love to marry you all over again. I wouldn't trade what we have for the world. You mean everything to me. I love you. Well, that's going to do it for today's mailbag. I'm going to get out of the way and allow you to enjoy this beautiful, unobstructed view of Elowah Falls.